Hey guys, welcome back to Everyday Pineapples. Today we are doing an install and a review of this. The people over at Haloview got a hold of us, and they wanted us to do a review of their what do they call this? Wireless mounted camera system. What is it, honey?
It's basically a backup camera. We're gonna mount the camera on the back of the camper, and there will be a monitor inside the car so we can see behind us while we're backing up.
Yep. And let me put it up front here so you guys can read if you want to read all the specs on it. It's really nice. It's nice and big. It's a 7-inch screen, which is a nice big screen in the car,
they
right?
have two different options. Wasn't it the 7-inch was the bigger screen, and I believe there was a 4 or 5-inch. I think it was 4-inch.
Smaller. We went for the bigger because we have the big car. It fit perfect in it. So, well, I'm going to hand over the reins to Mr. Pineapple here because I know nothing of installing cameras into a car. I mean, whatevs. So why don't you just walk us through what we're going to do? Okay.
Well, first we're going to lay everything out and show you what all comes inside of this thing. Okay. So I've kind of laid everything out here so you can see what comes in this. I've already went through and kind of figured out what we're going to use to mount this camera because there's components here that we're not going to use. They give us like mounting brackets for the monitor here. They have this monitor bracket, which we're not going to use on our vehicle. Your vehicle, you may want to use this one, but on ours, we're going to use this mounting bracket here. I've already looked in the car and figured out the best place I want the camera, and this is going to be the best option for what we're doing here. There's extra power cords here also. We're going to use a very simple method of wiring this up. We're going to actually just run this into our auxiliary jack there with this. If you want to go more in depth, you can use this harness and you can actually wire this camera into your car, and you have many more options that you can use with the camera if you do this. I'm just not going to spend time doing that. We really just want the camera for the ability to see behind us. So we're going to wire it up very simply. It does come with a couple of antennas. One, they're labeled right on here. One says camera, the other one says monitor, so you can tell which one goes on which. Pretty simple. This is the camera. It's a little kind of cool looking camera. It's got LED lights in there to give you night vision. It does actually work at night. Here's the mounting bracket for the camera. This will be mounted on the back of the camper. It comes with this giant magnet. So if you want to be able to move this thing around, you can actually mount the camera on the magnet and move it to any place you want it that'll stick to the magnet. The magnet, I'm not going to lie, isn't even in this box because my children found it and they thought it would be a great thing to tie a rope to and toss it into the pond and drag metal out of the pond. So they've lost it in the pond. So anyway, there does come a very, very powerful magnet. All right, so here we are at the back of the camper, and we have a series of lights that run across here. These are just running lights for the camper. What I have is this one here was broken, and I've been wanting to replace it. But what I thought was this would be a perfect place to mount the camera. Now I could run 12-volt power to the camera and put it anywhere I wanted back here. But I think I'm just going to get rid of this light and wire the camera right up here. The only problem with this is that I'll have to have the headlights on in order for the camera to work. But I'm fine with that because, you know, that's not a big deal. So we're going to mount the camera right here where we already have power. So here we are. We have our wires coming out of here. What we have is a white wire, and then we have a green and white wire. Now I know, because I used to build these things, that the white wire is your ground and the green and white is going to be your power source, 12-volt power. This thing does come with a good instruction booklet in case you don't know things, you know, but it's pretty simple. My wiring harness for the camera has a red and a black. Okay, so the red's going to be my power source. It's going to go to the green and white, and the black is going to be my ground, which is going to go to the white. Okay, so we already have wire nuts on here from where the light was, so I'm just going to take these off, and I'm going to wire in my black wire to the ground. Yes, it's all pretty simple. If you've done any kind of wiring before, it's not very complicated. And then my red wire gets wired into my power source, I did strip back a little extra wire on these, and that's going to get wired right in there. Now there's other ways you could do this, a little more professional, but this is the way your average person's probably going to do it. So okay, and so these wires, once I got them wired up, I'm going to tuck them back in here, and we're going to feed this wire. Our power wire here is going to get fed through this mounting bracket. Now, I already figured out this mounting bracket. It is a little complicated because of these grooves on the sides where your camera bolts on. If you put this on upside down, you're not going to get the right angles that you're looking for. So you might have to try it one way, and if that don't work right, take it off and put it on the other way. But we're going to mount this right on here like this, and then we're going to get our camera mounted on there. Okay, so now that we got this mounted up here, we're going to install this little visor piece that goes on here. It just kind of snaps on there, and it does have little locators, so when you get it in the right spot, it kind of locks in there. If I can get it, there we go. And that tilts with the camera when you tilt the camera. So, okay, Bruce hands me the camera here. All right, so the camera, the antenna, I installed the antenna on there. It just screws on real simple, and that's going to go up behind that bracket and give me the ability to put these screws in here. There is two screws that go on each side of this.
Sorry, our neighbor dogs are not wanting to be quiet today.
Yeah, neighbor dogs, you know. This is not wanting to go in. And I dropped it. I knew I was going to drop one.
That was not my fault.
No. All right, let's just cut to me after I get this installed, okay? Okay, so I got it all mounted up here now. I got the cord tucked back in pretty good. I might do a little more work on that. I'm having a little trouble getting it in there, but as you can see, the antenna here is hitting the camper already. So this is as high up as I can tilt that, which I know from when I mounted it the first time is good enough. But if you wanted to film a little farther out behind you, you're gonna have to work around that somehow. So,
or you just have to mount it up on top of the camper versus on the
if
side.
I mounted it up a little higher, I could get a totally different angle. That might be why it's that way. Maybe if I mounted it clear up here, it'd be filming down, probably work a lot better.
Yep.
All right, so now let's go mount the TV in the car. Okay, so before we go and mount this in the car, we're just gonna go ahead and assemble some of it right here. There's this visor piece here that goes on the monitor, which helps keep the glare down from the sun and stuff. So that actually goes on here, and it just snaps on just like that. Snaps on real nice and easy. And then we also have the antenna here, the one that says monitor. We're gonna go ahead and screw that on there right there. Now when I put the one on the camera, I made sure to snug that down with a pair of pliers. Not so important in the car, but I don't want to have to climb up there because the antenna comes loose and I don't want it to fall off going down the road. But I am going to just snug that up, just give it a little twist. You don't want to tighten that too much because it's a little brass fitting. Okay, so now we got this mounted on here. We've got these wing nut deals here that are going to screw this onto here. So the next step is to go into the car, and we're going to mount this on the dash so that we can get the camera mounted on, or the monitor mounted onto that. We're going to use this cord that comes off the monitor here. Has this little multi, it looks like a what is it, 9 plug adapter here. There's this other little short extension cord kind of piece that goes on here. That's going to plug onto the monitor, and then that will give us an end that will plug into our AC deal here. So that's going to plug on there, and now all I gotta do once I mount this monitor is plug this into my cigarette lighter or AC jack, whatever you want to call it, and then I'll have power going to the monitor. Okay, so sorry about the bad lighting in here. Not really anything we can do about that, but as you can see, I drilled 3 holes here because this is where we're going to mount the monitor. Right here on this piece seemed like the best place I could find. Everything's rounded. Now they do send another bracket that's made to mold. You can bend it and mold it to the shape of your dash, but I just thought this place right here would work pretty well. So I went ahead and drilled 3 holes here, and we're going to screw this right on there. Okay, now we got this mounted on here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the monitor. It has these 4 wing nuts, 2 on each side. They go through these slots here. Now if you mount this bracket on one way and you can't get the right tilt, it's because of the way they notch these slots. You might have to turn this bracket around the other way, but I know this is the way I want it. So we're going to go ahead and take these wing nuts off of the monitor and get it hooked up on there. Okay, now this antenna is designed where you could bend it and move it to wherever you want it.
Because surprisingly, we don't actually have a lot of room in our dash area.
No, we don't really.
It's really quite short between the dash and the top of the roof. So like.
But we're used to not having a lot of room. We live in a camper.
Right. Well, I was just meaning that bracket that they gave you that you could mount and swivel. It wouldn't. Yeah. It wouldn't fit up here. We would have to mount it down on our center console, and we use our center console all the time for our drinks and
so you can mount this pretty much anywhere you want. You can put this on the ceiling, you can put it on the floor, whatever works best for you, huh?
Yeah, but this works
is what we think works good for us. So we're gonna get it on here. Plus, I don't like to have to take my eyes really off the road, so this gives me the ability to see the monitor without really taking my eyes off the road. From my angle, this isn't blocking my view out the windshield at all. It's actually just below the bottom of the windshield from my line of view. I know Holly's a little bit shorter than me, so she probably can't see nothing when she drives.
No, well, it's a little in my way.
Okay.
I want to butt in here real quick because I'm sure it's something Mr. Pineapple forgot about. But when we first installed this camera, and I'm going to turn so we can see him, or maybe, I don't know, let me see here. Can you see both of us? There you go. Yeah. When we first installed this camera, we couldn't get it to sync. It syncs via Bluetooth. We couldn't get it to sync. And do you remember what the problem was?
We're going to show what that is here in a second.
We're going to show that?
Yeah, once we get this all hooked up, which all we got left to do now is to plug our power supply in right here into our cigarette lighter.
Let's do that.
So let's do that.
Ignore our dirty cigarette lighter.
Okay, so now it's coming on. Now we did plug our 7-prong adapter into our camper. So the camper is electrically hooked up to the car right now.
Our headlights aren't on though?
No, the headlights are not on. But we're going to turn on the monitor. And it comes up with this blue screen that says, if you can see that at all,
if I get real
it says no signal. Okay, well, one of the problem is remember I said we have to have the headlights on in order to have power to our camera. So we're going to turn that on. Turn our headlights on, and it's either going to work or make a liar out of us.
Or I might have to reset it again since we I don't know.
I might not have the power supply plugged into the camper well enough because we have some trouble with that connector.
Yeah, that might be the problem, babe.
Oh, just give me a second here.
Okay, guys. So we need to repair the thing. So Mr. Pineapple is at the back of the camper right now, ready to press the little button that is on the it's on the back of the camera, and I am in here. I am going to get the pairing ready. We are on the phone with each other right now so that he'll know when I'm ready, because as soon as you hit pairing, you have 18 seconds to press that button. So first you go to menu, and down over here you'll see pairing. So just click over to pairing. Okay, now that I'm at pairing, I'm gonna hit OK. All right, and I'm gonna tell Mr. Pineapple here that I'm hitting OK so he knows to press the button. All right, honey, go ahead and press the button. You have 20 seconds to press the button to pair the camera, so I assume he's doing that now. Waiting. Did you press it, honey?
I did.
We are not getting any pairing here. We're down to 7 seconds, no pairing. No pairing. We did not pair. Okay guys, so it wasn't a pairing problem. Apparently we didn't have it plugged in all the way. As soon as we plugged it in, it works. As you can see, there is my adorable son, Bruce. And as you can hear, there is audio with this camera. Okay, so as you can see, the audio is working just fine. Now, if you do not want audio, all you have to do, he's just gonna keep saying, all you have to do is go to menu, click OK on volume. When you're on the volume, hit OK again, and then use the arrows here to adjust it down until there's nothing. Or if you want the volume up, keep the volume all the way up, but you just need to mute it for a second. Hit OK again, click over and it'll go down, hit OK, and then there you go, we muted it. So for right now there's no sound, but all you have to do is click it back on and there is sound. There's so many things you can do with this. If you go back to the menu, you see here there is picture, so you can take pictures. There's the mirror the image. You've got the Q mode, we got settings, we have auto scan, parking line. Okay, so that was us installing the Haloview backup monitoring system.
Yes.
And I like it, don't you?
Yeah, I really like it. Now, we've never really had another backup camera, so how this one rates compared to others, I don't know. And this thing has a ton of options that we haven't even touched on.
You guys just saw we're no good at it.
We don't even know how to work this thing, but we only need it for the camera behind us and the sound. It's nice. Before, we used to use our phones, you know, and I'd call her and she's back there telling me how far to go, and then we're confused as to which way's right, which way's left. She has a different left than I do, so no, but this works great for that. I can see her back there. She could say this way or that way, you know, and she can just say, you know, this much farther.
I'm no good with like a foot.
I'm like, yeah. She measures in yarn stitches.
I do. How many stitches can you get in there? Because that's what I want to know. What's the gauge is the question.
Yeah. So this just works great for that. I can see pretty much everything behind me. I just want her back there for a safety, you know, make sure that there's not a branch up high that I can't see or something like that. Right. But other than that, I can see perfectly fine to back up. It works great going down the road to see who's behind you. When you're pulling a 35-foot camper, it's kind of nice to be able to see behind you. It
does glitch a little when you're moving fast.
So I was gonna say the only problem with that is it does glitch. So you might look and see there's nobody behind you, but if somebody's pulled up in the last 2 seconds, it might not be caught up yet.
It's not great for driving, but it's great for parking.
It does give you an idea when there's somebody behind you, though, because it does work. And like I said, sometimes it glitches and things, but it still gives you an idea if there's anybody back there. But don't rely on it too much for driving. It's more for backing up. It works great at lower speeds, like when you're backing up. So
I think it was a great addition to the camper and the traveling lifestyle. I definitely think people should go check them out. I will put a link down in the description box of this to their website. And you guys, we really enjoy it. And if, like I said, we've only had a little while. If we figure out any other problems, we'll gladly get on and tell you guys.
Yeah,
but right now, we really like it.
From Michigan to Texas, we did use it.
Yes.
And it worked great. In fact, I probably wouldn't want to be hauling this camper without it anymore.
No, I wouldn't want to go without it anymore.
It was such a help that it's just...
I think anybody who hauls a camper needs a backup camera.
Yeah.
And I think the Haloview is perfect. So I couldn't give it... I'd give it 2 thumbs up, but I'm holding the tripod.
Yeah, so we get...
There's 2 thumbs! The tripod's over there.
3 thumbs up.
That's 4 thumbs. My other thumb is up, but I'm holding the camera, you guys. So we're going to get out of here. It really does work
great. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we're going to get out of here.
Get out of here. It works great. You guys go check them out. The link is down below.
Yeah.
So,
bye, guys.